I wasn't going to get into this, but I, I think maybe somebody needs to hear that about the setbacks that I've had. Maybe it'll help them get over whatever's you're going through. Um, Everybody has setbacks at times, right? So, um, I've had quite a few. Um, you get through it. I just keep going. But one thing I've had is that there's this book. This was the first fairies book that Andy Park and I did. Where's there? Look. And actually this one sold out, so that's a good thing. Um, um, when I was publishing it, because I I had a publishing company at the time, so we were publishing it ourselves, and I had galleys, and I was showing at different conventions and whatnot, and um, a lot of companies came and met with me. They actually called me in and had me meet with them. And what happened was my book launched the $7 billion fairies industry without me. It wasn't just the book that people liked. It was the fact that I had packaged the whole thing. Also, I have these stuffed animals, and look, it's you can stick your hand in it. It put Hot Wheels in it. I did one for this guy too is my favorite. I like this guy. Um, you can stick your hand in it. This was like had a little thing, little hang, and because the fairies book was for kids, toddlers, so it has the crinkly wings, all the things. It has the fairy puppy purse. And again, you can put your stuff inside, put your stuff inside the purse. Crinkly wings. They're like the character Peepo. And then we even had a dragonfly prototype, again with crinkly wings. Um, and and we even made a witch prototype anyway. And I had notepads and all the consumer products that you do for all the majors when they have a movie come out. You have the notepads, the journals, the t-shirts, all that stuff. So it wasn't just the story that inspired people, but it was the fact that it was a packageable property. And there was a hole in the market that I saw, which at the time I was really good at seeing holes in the market. That's why there's so many of the things that we pitched became real without us, but it was because there were holes in the market. So that's what happens. So if you're gonna so if you're gonna think of something new that nobody's done before, that whether you see a hole in the market, that's when you have to be careful because people are stories are well, anyway, people are more apt to borrow or get inspired by your property when you have it all totally packaged, like I did. So anyway, but it's okay. I have these guys and I can play with them. When that book inspired the $7 billion fairies industry from my ideas, um, I decided to put write the story over again, age it up, and put boys in it. And I love the way it came out. It came out much better. It's darker. It's really fun, and it's expanded and whatnot. So the first story, which the first book is actually a children's book, and sorry, this one I redid that one just recently. The art's by Andy Park still, and he's my partner in that. But Pillywig series is darker and I really I love it. I'm glad that I wrote that. But what happens is I mean it's not the only IP that has inspired other studios to take my stuff. There's a lot of them that have, but and I'm not the only one that's happened to. I've so that can happen in the industry. It's why when people say scraping and things like that, it bothers me because there's one thing to be inspired by someone's work, but you don't want to steal somebody's work. Just use your own. You create your own stuff. But in the meantime, I just decided to keep going and not sue, even though I had I had contracts and written paperwork that showed I was there at the different places and met with people and whatnot, but it wasn't the companies that did it. It was certain executives that did it. And they probably didn't tell their bosses what happened. They probably just said, "Oh, this is my idea," and whatever. So people do that in industries. They will take your ideas and they will claim them as their own, and the bosses might never know. And I was a vendor of all these studios, so and these companies. Had an agency, so I saw, something, one of the characters turned from a pixie to a fairy, and I saw different things happen. So the art style changed to Andy's art style. I saw all that. But it just proves that, I had good ideas. Um, and so now we're re-promoting Pillywiggin series, and actually the Fairies book too, because it's been a while. It's been a while since the first book came out. And so we figured with this new audience, um, maybe they should know about the books. They're really good stories. Pillywiggins won some awards. Actually, the Fairies book won some awards too. So that was nice. But anyway, when you make something, just be careful who you show it to, you know. Um, on the studios and television networks, defense, I guess. I wasn't, even though I had good ideas and I had experience in certain things, I had never actually produced a show. So with people in that industry, they don't want to take a chance on somebody that hasn't produced a show, so they'll give it to somebody else. You know, in hindsight, if they had used me, their shows would have come out better because the shows didn't do very well. Well, $7 billion industry did well, but still, it could have been better. But anyway, just be careful. Um, but you have to put yourself out there and go. It's like you can't just hold back in your room because you're afraid somebody's going to steal your stuff. You take precautions, but that's why being an expert at what you're doing, is one way to do it. Finding the right people, the right team to team up with, to create whatever content you want to create is another way. Sometimes you will have to take a chance and go to these big companies. And, just be careful, I don't know, just use your intuition, I guess, what you can do. Um, but for me, it worked out well because although I love that story, it's a kid's story, and I love the new books much better actually than that story. So I'm grateful that that happened because now I have this whole franchise that I love. It's darker and it's more action, and I think it's going to be fun. So anyway, I just thought I was inspired to tell somebody that. So just keep going. Don't worry, don't be afraid. Believe in yourself and keep going. It all works out fine. Love you.